Moving on to resolution, action item G4, resolution pertaining to the discontinuing of positions. Ms. Fisher is not here. Jerry or Pam, do you want to?
This resolution pertains to the discontinuing of positions. This is a resolution that's required first to discontinue the number of positions prior to discontinuing the person that corresponds to that position. It's essentially a summary of the amount, FTE equivalency, of discontinued positions.
Okay. Is there a motion for the resolution pertaining to the discontinuing of positions? I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Any other discussion?
It's a sizable chunk of staff. We look through the list. And I know we talked about this last year. The broad sweep of layoffs, whether or not they're needed, but because it's consistent.
Okay.
I was hoping to see a different way to resolve this rather than doing the broad sweep.
What would you suggest?
There are districts that utilize different processes. They don't just lay everyone off that's non-tenured. It affects morale. It affects productivity. When we are doing teacher evaluations with principals and they have mini evaluations and we know that they're new, they have to have even more evaluations. There should be a lot going forward. There should be a lot of information that is going into how we look at staff and what our staffing needs are. We have growth in enrollment. So those are just all the things that I'm...
As someone that's been through the other process, this is much more efficient from our administrator's time. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying that we can't look at different...
To lay off 79 people?
And then come back and take who we want back.
But shouldn't we already know who we want? I mean, they've already had how many, either years of teaching or how many months of teaching?
We may or may not.
Right, I agree.
So I'm not, I've been through the other way. This is much cleaner. I'm not saying that this isn't, that there aren't other ways to do that. And I'd be open to looking at other ways to do that. But this process has worked for many years. And again, sometimes that list is lengthy like it is this year because of all the extra funding that and positions that are funded. And sometimes that list is very small.
This actually is just teachers. That has nothing to do with student interventionists, which are the extra staff with the extra dollars.
But we have some staff, we have some teachers that are with extra money that are added in, staff that we've added in there too.
I agree.
So this is a lengthy list. It's one of the largest ones, so I'm just saying, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just want to let you know that this has evolved over time. I see Mike over nodding his head too. This process has evolved a little bit, so just my 2 cents.
All right, and it's just up for discussion.
How soon does staff generally find out then if they'll be coming back, or are some aware of that unofficially?
We'll start working you'll have some people next month. Usually by the end of the year, everybody knows, by the end of the school year.
And according to contract, they need to be, the layoffs need to happen by July 1st, is that correct? Okay.
We do it early.
And I agree with that, and giving people a heads up and saying you may want to consider something else.
That way they can look for a good position if they're not brought back. Or will we lose some that we want to keep? Maybe. But I don't know that we will. This is I would agree with Mr. Rem, this is much cleaner than picking and choosing, which is what ends up happening in some districts. And since we try and do this early, it allows us to bring back earlier too.
Ms. Fisher sent out an email, and I think it's important that we read it, because it talks about bringing faculty back and hiring, and I'm just going to read this statement that she made. We will be using the new Ventures for Excellence process for teachers. This includes an assessment during the application process, an electronic scoring tool that we have set up specific to our district, a Ventures phone interview for those meeting the cut score, followed up by an in-person interview with the principal and the hiring committee after they have chosen their interview candidates. The assessment, scoring tool, and phone interview all narrow the pool so that when the principal sees the candidate pool, they are very likely to have the best candidates along with all of their scoring information to see the applicant's strengths and opportunities. The application also now asks for a video clip of the candidate teaching a lesson or asks that he provide or she provide a video at the time of the interview. The last option would be to require them to give a mock lesson. To me, and Mr. Miley's here, and Mr. Cox is here, it seems like if we're going to be bringing back positions and they have candidates that are qualified and have done a good job, they're going to go to bat for them, whether they were laid off now or not. It seems like this would be a fairly clean process for them to bring back the teachers that they want or need in their building. Is that a fair assessment, Mr. Cox or Mr. Miley?
I mean, processes, yeah, this is a clean process. We meet with the staff at all buildings, they understand that they will be laid off, but yet we will be visiting as an admin and cabinet team, and like Dr. Kierkegaard said, we'll be looking at who to bring back. And we try to let people know as soon as we can, and that's very important. If people have families, and if they need to look elsewhere, then that gives them the opportunity. But for some of them, you're right, board member, some we've seen for 3 years, and some we've only seen for a few months. And since we've gone to the new observation format that we're using, we're more aware of what's going on in the classroom. We're getting a chance to see firsthand. So it'll give us a little bit more time and to work with them and go through, I guess, the whole entire year, if you want to look at it that way. But we let them know as soon as we can.
Mr. Cox, anything to add? Or?
I would concur exactly with Mark. And when you're talking about the Ventures program or what Ms. Fisher is describing there, that is especially going to be helpful in the elementary setting where we often get 200 applications for an elementary opening. You know, a little different maybe for a high school science position where there might not be as many, but that process is going to help a lot streamline bringing the top candidates up. So.
Good. Thank you. Any other discussion? There was a motion and a second, I believe. It's a resolution, so roll call.
Jackie Salisbury. Liz Vanderbilt. Aye. Dan Krunquist.
Aye.
Mike Carlson.
Aye.
Linda Mathiasen.
Nay.
Nate Street.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
That passes 6-1.
On to action item G5, resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contracts of probationary teachers. Dr. Kierkegaard, do you have anything to add to it other than what it states?
It's a resolution that puts the names behind the numbers, so you're able to tell. And these are all of the probationary teachers in the district.
So we discontinued the positions, now we have to discontinue the people that were with the positions. Or terminate those, all right. Clarification for everybody. Is there a motion to approve that action item?
I'll introduce the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Liz Vanderbilt.
Aye.
Dan Krunquist.
Aye.
Mike Carlson.
Aye.
Linda Mathiasen.
Nay.
Nate Street.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
Jackie Salisbury.
Aye.
That passes 6-1.
On to action item G6, resolution proposing to place a tenured teacher on unrequested leave of absence. Dr. Kierkegaard, I'll let you speak for Ms. Fisher again.
This is actually at Joel's request. He's attempting to work his way into retirement, and this is to remove 20 days, that is, our summertime days, off his contract. So we have to go through this process in order to do that, even though he wants to have us do it. And I've talked to him on the phone, and he's okay with it.
He's the one making the request.
Yeah, he's okay with it, but, he's also not looking, he loves doing what he's doing. He's going to be sorely missed, so.
I'll make the resolution. Thanks, Jerry.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Dan Kroonquist,
Aye.
Mike Carlson,
Aye.
Linda Mathiasen,
Aye.
Nate Street,
Aye.
Mike Reynolds,
Aye.
Jackie Salisbury,
Aye.
Liz Vanderbilt.
Aye.
That passes 7-0.
On to action item G7, approve the 2013-2014 school calendar year. There is a correction, and then Dr. Kruger, I'll let you speak. What was shown online was December 13th as a staff development day, all day, and it is now going to be in session with students on that day, correct?
Correct.
Further discussion, Dr. Kruger.
Teacher workshop days are the last week in August. If they ever change the law, we will make the adjustment to the calendar, okay? You approving it doesn't necessarily tie our hands if the legislature would ever change the start date, which is no more than 1 to 2 hours. So I don't think it'll happen. State law mandates that classes can't start until after Labor Day, which is September 2nd that year. In order to meet the contractual requirement of 174 secondary or 172 middle school and 172 grades K-8, less 2 conference days, the last day of school would be June 5th. There's time in there for professional development and early dismissals are set aside for that. Statewide professional development is the 17th and 18th of October. Last day of school, the 5th of June. Graduation is the 1st of June. So the seniors will be out 4 days ahead of everybody else. But it is nice to have it the weekend of Memorial Day.
Sure. Do we have any goals, Jerry, to have the K through 5 and middle school days reflect the high school days? I understand that by state law, we're required to have so many hours for our senior high students, and it's different for younger kids. But do we have any goals or ever had any discussion about moving that? I understand it costs money.
No, not really. Sorry. Nobody's ever really brought it up.
Well, I just know part of our our school improvement plans and goals is to try and increase our learning time with students, our teacher and student contact. And
2 days would cost us $60,000 to $80,000
for staff-wide,
per staff.
that's it. I don't think that's a lot.
No, I don't think it's.
For 4,000 kids being touched,
That
2
might be-
extra days
that
by
might
a
be
teacher
right.
of contract.
Maybe I'm too low, too, I don't know.
But I just wanted to bring up as point of a conversation, is are we looking at that? And I was wondering if we went down to the bare minimum as a result of our SOD status several years back, or if we've always been a district that is low on hours.
Well, I don't know. Mike, you remember anything about SOD on calendars?
No.
I mean, because I can see how that could be a great savings if you're looking
Yeah,
at rebuilding your financial.
I
no.
know that the days that we're in.
I'm sorry.
Just thinking you cut calendar days to save money when you're SOD.
Absolutely not. No. No. This 182 and 172 has looked the same, virtually the same to me. Kate, that has looked the same ever since I've been on the board.
Okay.
I mean, as I've negotiated contracts, 172 teaching days has always been kind of the number. And then I know 100, and then usually it was either 9 or 10
Yeah.
additional staff, non-student.
And how many hours did you say it is? Classroom?
1,020 hours, 965, I think, at the elementary level.
There's a difference.
There's a
I mean, how many,
significant-
I'm asking teachers and other faculty that's here, how many districts exceed those by an amount that, to me, 2 days is, I mean, if you're talking a week or a couple of weeks, now we're talking about something, but 2 days is 2 days. Is there a lot of districts that exceed what we have been doing? Anybody have any reference?
I doubt it.
I'm seeing more
I'm just
no's.
familiar with our contract.
More no's
It's
than
been the
yes.
same since I've been here.
I don't think, I think where I came from was about this, I mean, it was within one day of this.
And I always point out the days difference because of not just what other districts are doing, but because of the difference between the high school and the K through 8 difference.
Okay.
I'm going to bring the 14-15 calendar before the end of the year.
Okay. Well, maybe that can be a discussion I'm going forward
Yeah.
for the next school year.
I move to approve the calendar.
Second.
Further discussion? Just a point of clarification, when Dr. Kira talks about changing the calendar of school year, that state law, it is not saying that we are changing the school year here in Willmar, Minnesota. All we're saying is we wanted the state to give us the option, along with other districts,
Yeah.
to set their own calendar, whether it's before or after Labor Day. I've gotten some emails and phone calls that said, there's no way you should start before Labor Day. That's not what this law is about. It's about giving us control, or other districts their own control, changing the calendar year. So just a point of clarification. There's been a motion and a second to approve the 2013-14 school calendar year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That action item carries.